we have head coach Tony Elliott. He's going to take the podium. We will have 15 minutes with our coach. Remember, if you would, please identify yourselves and the agency that you are with. And, Coach, your first question is going to come the very back row. We will hustle the microphone there. Just follow the aisle up, and you will see Mike to your right.
Morning, Coach.
Morning.
Mike Barber from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. I'm curious, how valuable has Brennan been in establishing kind of your program as a returning starter with a new coaching staff?
Great question. He brings initial credibility to me by making the decision to stay. Obviously, he had opportunities to move on and transition to the next level. So he brings that immediate validation because he believes, showing his belief in me to the rest of the locker room, and then just having a guy that's battle tested, that's worked and developed. I've been a fan of his before ever having a chance to work with him. Just watching him develop from afar through our games with Virginia when I was at Clemson, and then just now to be around him, to see how he operates, how he conducts himself. I think we have a lot of similarities. We're both blue-collar mentality guys. Team-first guys. One of the points that he wanted to illustrate to me early on is like, Coach, this ain't about stats. This is about winning. I want to win. I want to come back. I want to win. I want to develop, and I want to prepare myself for the next level. So he's been instrumental in me establishing the foundation of the program.
Coach, left side, almost to the double doors.
Hey, Coach, David Hood, TigerNet.com. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. At what point, Dabo said yesterday, you've had other opportunities to be a head coach, but at what point in this process with Virginia did you say, I'm ready, number one, I know I'm ready, and number two, this is the perfect fit for me?
Right. I think, you've followed my career, and we've had a very good relationship over the years, and we went through this starting in 2015 every year with the calls coming and the opportunities. I think there was some programming that I was a part of with the Champions Forum that humbled me and showed me that I wasn't ready to be a head coach. So in 2015 is really when I really started to say, okay, I want to make this transition, but I knew there were things that I wanted to do. And going through the experience with another school the previous year and getting close to possibly transition is when I knew I really was ready to be a head coach, but I just needed to find the right place. And so with Virginia, everybody knows it came down to Duke and Virginia from a decision standpoint, and I think for me it was really solidified with the not the initial conversations with Carla, but it was the follow-up conversations with Carla, because you know me, David, that I'm very intentional. I'm about relationship, and I was looking for alignment. That was the number one thing that I was looking for. We were able to have a couple of conversations off the record that solidified that UVA was the right place for me. It had already fit the profile of what I was looking for, because you guys know that academics is for me the most important thing. I was a ball player just like these guys, and I had dreams of playing in the NFL, but it was my aunt's persistent and consistent messaging to me about my education, and now my life and the life of my children have changed because of education. So it started there. The alignment was established through those off-the-record conversations, and then there's a lot of similarities between where I was coming from and UVA. It's a college-oriented town. It's in the ACC, and I believe that this is the best conference in college football, and I've experienced it at the highest level. So I knew I had a chance to compete for championships, and then the last thing is I wanted to be somewhere where I could build what I believe is a model program that shows that you can win at the highest level, but you don't have to compromise anything from a character standpoint, an academic standpoint, and a player development standpoint.
Coach, your next two questions will come from the left side, first and second row, right on the edge.
Coach, welcome here to Virginia. I know you've already been in the ACC, but welcome. So, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Dabo Sweeney said yesterday that he felt this was the right fit for you, that when he had the conversation with you, he felt like this was the one and you had to take it. I know you've spoken about the why for Virginia, but just your relationship with Coach Sweeney, what you can say about that, and that connection with him, that as much as he wanted you there, he respected you enough to say, hey, this is a good fit.
Yeah, so Coach Sweeney's relationship is kind of changed over the years, but it started as a father-son type relationship, being that he was my position coach for my senior year. And I was coming off of 3 years of playing for Rick Stockstill, and then there was a transition, and then I was asked to come back, and I had already graduated from Clemson with an engineering degree, and there was a lot of uncertainty because I was a walk-on. I didn't know what was going to happen, and then here comes Coach Sweeney. So we had similarities in our background, our values that we had already aligned, and then over the years, when I became one of his coaches, that father-son relationship was still there, but it kind of now transitioned into more of a mentor/colleague, and I aligned with a lot that he was doing at Clemson, and I also valued his opinion on a lot of things, and so I would seek advice to him. And a couple of things he told me is he wanted me to be an old head coach, not just a head coach, which means that you go somewhere where it's the right fit. I learned a lot about how to build a culture and what protecting and establishing a culture will do for a program if you want to sustain it. I learned a lot of things about just how to run the day-to-day, and that's what's so awesome about Coach Sweeney is he's very inclusive. He includes a lot of people, and sometimes people use it as a knock, but for me, that's one of his greatest assets is he values people and he incorporates people and he allows people to develop. And so he was instrumental in helping me develop, but he also taught me that, hey, you don't have to be in a rush. You can enjoy the moment, be present where your feet are as you prepare, and then look for confirmation, because again, the objective is to be an old head coach, not just a head coach.
And as promised, right there in the second row.
Coach, good afternoon. Frank Maloney, Who's Talking on 9:10 a.m., The Fan. You've got these incredible athletes on offense, all these skill players. They've developed very quickly and very fast, and there's a lot of promise there. The million-dollar question is, can you explain how the offensive line is going to develop this summer to get ready for the season?
Right. That is the biggest question, and the only regret that I have is that I didn't do a good job of recruiting those guys that left when I first got to UVA. But I'm excited about the opportunities that we have. So we have guys that have some experience, just not a lot of it. So Leach is a guy that we've been really counting on, and he had a great offseason, great spring, and he showed some versatility. Logan Taylor is a big body that's very talented, coming off of injury, so he was limited in the spring. And then we got Divine. Divine's an older guy, a veteran guy, hasn't played as much. So there's three guys that have some experience, just not a lot of it. And then we bring in John Paul Flores, is a grad transfer, Justice Johnson at center. So I think that we have a solid 7 or so. Charlie Patterson has really transformed his body. Noah Josie is a very talented young player. So I think we have a good 7 bodies that are ready to go. In this offseason, they've worked really hard. They transformed their body. I'm excited to get back and see exactly where they are. We've worked with the coaches a little bit with the rule changes, and that's been very positive. Now the challenge is, can we develop the depth? And so we brought in some ready-made guys that we believe could transition quickly, and then we have some developmental guys on the offensive line that we think over time are going to be really good players. So the key is, can we get 2 or 3 of those guys that we brought in this summer to be ready to be depth guys, so that the guys that are starting don't have to play every single snap, but they're going to have to grow up fast. And then we got to create some more depth with Ty Furnish at center as well.
Coach, follow the center aisle all the way towards the back, right-hand side.
Hey, Tony, Gene Wong with the Washington Post. How long did it take from the first time you set foot in Charlottesville for someone to mention the importance of the Virginia Tech rivalry against Virginia Tech? And in your first year, how quickly have you become immersed in that? I know that game's far into the future, but obviously very important one in Charlottesville.
Yeah, it happened before I stepped foot in Charlottesville. It was made very clear that that's the one that we have to win. And my response to is, every game is the most important game on the schedule. In order to be a champion, and I tell these guys all the time, you have to become a champion before you ever get to a championship moment. And so we understand the importance of winning that game versus Virginia Tech, and a lot of respect for Coach Pry and the program and what they're doing up there. But for us, it's not focusing on Virginia Tech, it's focusing on Virginia, and understanding that if we come out the gate and we make Richmond the most important game on the schedule, and we take that one-game mentality mindset that it's a season of its own, then when we get to Virginia Tech, then we'll be prepared to put forth our best effort in a championship moment, and then let the cards fall where they fall. But I've also been fortunate to be a part of a very similar rivalry in Clemson and South Carolina, and it's 365 days, and there's dividing lines. Even in the household, like there's dividing lines. So it was refreshing to see, because I think that every champion, and we're talking long term, that's what we desire to be, a championship program, needs a very worthy rival.
Coach, from the podium, you were born in California, but you've spent your entire career hugging the Atlantic Coast, right here at the podium.
Okay.
You've spent your entire career on the Atlantic Coast. What is it about this part of the country that keeps you here?
First of all, it's a lot slower pace of life than living out in the concrete jungle in California. Just some of the Southern values I've grown to love. Football. I mean, football is very, very important here in this region. But I like the geography. I like the green. Even though the sinuses kill me when the pollen comes out, I just love this this area, and it's home for me. And I was embraced in my aunt's household down in Charleston. Embraced throughout my time in South Carolina. I coached my entire career in the state of South Carolina, in the ACC for 11 years. So it's just home to me.
Thank you. Follow the aisle up again to the very far back.
Greg Medea, Charlottesville Daily Progress. Tony, where has Keaton grown the most as a receiver since you arrived? Obviously, was in the kind of do-it-all role last year. Where has he grown the most as a receiver?
Great question. Yeah, he's grown the most that he's now understanding that Coach Elliott's going to be on him every single day. Every single day. And now he's accepting that challenge. I was fortunate to play wide receiver. I coached wide receiver for 5 years, and then I was at Clemson for 11 with a head coach who was a wide receiver guy. So, wide receiver is in my blood, and he is an extremely, extremely talented football player. He has an additional sense that not every football player has. He has a sense of just how to make plays, right? But where he needed to improve was just the technical aspect of the position, because at his size, there's going to be some times where he may not have the advantage, right? He might be playing against a smaller, quicker guy, and he might not be able to be in a position where he's off the ball. So now he has to use a different skill set to be able to create space. And so the biggest area I've seen him grow is just accepting the challenge of becoming a technician at the position. I already know you're a great football player, right? You have a great football mind. He started as a quarterback. He just has that sense. He has that knack. Now can we add the technical aspect of it to complete your game? Because he has everything he needs to be dominant and successful at this level, but I desire for him to accomplish his goals beyond the University of Virginia, and I don't just want him to get to the NFL, I want him to stay in the NFL, and so he needs to just continue to improve the small technical aspects, because he's got all the big things.
Coach, thanks for the time. You can switch places with Brennan now, and we'll get the senior quarterback to the podium.
That 15 minutes was quick.
Folks, same routine. Even though you've introduced yourself to the head coach, let's introduce ourselves to the student athletes. And we're going to stay right with Mike in the very back, even though I've sort of just introduced you, didn't I?
There you go. Mike Barber from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Brennan, I'm curious how you viewed your role in terms of helping Coach establish his program as a returning starter. And if you could kind of give us a little insight into why you decided to stay and play for him when the change happened.
Yeah, I think my role now when Coach Elliott came in was just, hearing what he has to say and what he wants his program to be like. And then I just, take that into the locker room. He talks about us being a player-led locker room, and I think those where the great teams are formed. And so, understand what Coach Elliott wants for his team and the culture, and then, me taking that into the locker room and pushing that for the guys. And then just coming back is I just thought unfinished business. I wanted to play with the guys one more time, and I just didn't really like how the season ended. I wanted to end it better and just hang out with the guys one more year, play some more ball.
Brennan, to your left, towards the double doors, far left.
Brennan, David Hood with TigerNet.com. If you can, describe your first meeting with Coach Elliott where you guys actually just kind of sat down and discussed offensive philosophy. And did you have a moment during that meeting where you were like, man, this guy really knows what he's talking about, and it made you excited about what could come with this group?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of questions because obviously the offense that we ran last year was a lot different compared to the offense that he ran at Clemson. So I had a lot of questions. He knew what he was talking about. I was very confused, but now I've got a pretty good grasp of the offense and the concepts and the things that we were trying to accomplish. I think just the biggest thing in this offense is, I can play within an offense. I felt like last year there was a lot of plays that had to be made. In this offense, there's plays already, we're calling a play, and I can just play within the offense. So I think that's a big transition for me as a quarterback in my mindset of how to play the quarterback position.
Brennan, to your right, second row.
Jeremiah Quimby, Legacy Maker Sports Network. Brennan, first of all, thanks for representing us Southpaws. There's not many, quarterbacks that do that. Secondly, great season last year, a little bit of injuries. Of course, new coaches, new stuff. What's the goal? I mean, you came back, I know, Coach Elliott, amazing, but as far as what else do you have to accomplish? You're getting close to the passing record, things like that.
Yeah, it's not personal for me. No personal goal is not the reason why I came back. It was all just team goal stuff. I feel like we just have more to give, more wins to, have more of a better season, I feel like. So I just feel like it was just a team thing that we didn't accomplish what I thought we could accomplish, and I wanted to do it, give it one more shot. It didn't matter about, who was the coach. In all honesty, obviously I trust Coach Elliott, but, I just wanted to do it one more time, be with the guys. I know, when we're out there on the field, the players are playing, and so it's just us out there. And so I feel like we have the pieces to do it. And with Coach Elliott here now, with his, knowledge and what it looks like and the players he's been around and everything that he brings to the table for us, I think we have the opportunity to be something special even in his first season here as a head coach. So, it was no personal gain for me. It was just all, team-oriented stuff.
Right in front of you, on your left, first row.
Brennan, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Your quarterback coach, Jason Beck, is at Syracuse now. What can you say you learned and took away from him, and how are you adjusting to the fact that he's not there?
Yeah, I grew up with him for 4 straight years in my college career. He taught me a lot, but I think with Coach Lamb now, it's more of a partnership. I think the relationship I have with Coach Lamb actually is a lot better in a sense because I just feel like it's a partnership. I'm an old guy, and his energy that he brings is great. But yeah, like I said, Coach Beck has been great for me. I wouldn't be in the position I am without him there and the staff that was there. But I'm just fortunate that I get to have a different person now with Coach Lamb and gain more knowledge from someone else. That's the only thing you can really do is just keep getting more knowledge at playing the position. But yeah, overall it's been great.
Brennan, from the podium, your last question. I am curious. In high school, you accounted for 9 touchdowns and a loss against Tiffin Columbia. Final score was 83-82. You lost by a point. What was it about that marathon football game that taught you about football and maybe you lean upon now here in college?
Yeah, I remember specifically my freshman year in high school, we weren't the greatest team ever. Obviously, you could tell we were giving up 83 points, but we were like 2-8 or whatever, ended that. But I think just the resiliency that I showed as a 14-year-old kept going, even though we were down pretty badly, and then we fought back, and that's what we made it into a double overtime game, which was insane. But I remember my head coach there at the time was like, forget about this. You did great, blah, blah, blah. Just keep fighting. Always keep fighting. And that's just kind of what I bring. And I think that's what I bring, now to this table in college.
Thank you. You can switch places with Nick. We'll bring the senior linebacker up a little bit for about 5 minutes or so. Questions for Nick? We will start once again in the very back of the room. Just, Nick, follow the aisle up towards the cameras and look to your right.
Hey, Nick. Mike Barber from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. What is it about the new defensive scheme and the mentality that Coach Rudzinski has brought that you like, that you think fits your personnel?
Yeah, it's just really multiple. What Coach Rudd is doing has just been great. He's just getting everyone on the same page. Last year was last year, and now that we got Coach Rudd, he's just pushing the envelope, just making us better every single day. A lot of individual work, a lot of tackling work, and just helping us get better at our craft individually and then collectively with the team teach segment.
Back to the front row, right in front of you, Nick, to your left.
Nick, Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Just what you could say about having Coach Elliott in the building, what type of energy he brings, and what the atmosphere has been like, and maybe how animated he gets at times.
Yeah, Coach Elliott. Getting Coach Elliott was it's been electric, honestly. I mean, you can feel the buzz around campus, grounds, and just having him, he's changed a lot. Just different things around the campus, different things around our even facility. It's brought a different energy to the program that I'm excited to keep doing, bringing back old traditions with the Wahoo Walk and different things like that. And Coach Elliott's been great for us, and I'm really glad that we got him.
Nick, from the podium, there's a picture of you as a toddler wearing a UVA bib. Did you have any other choice other than Charlottesville?
Yeah, so my dad went here, but he was really adamant about just going to a highly academic school. And Virginia was pretty much in my ear since day one, but he was able to give me whatever option I wanted to, but I ended up going to Virginia.
Questions for Nick from the room? We will slide here into the second row, right at the edge. You can see where the mic is headed, Nick.
Frank Maloney, Who's Talking 910. Nick, playing in the middle of the field like that, calling the signals on most plays, what have you learned in addition to that to help your teammates play better?
Yeah, you have to know everything. You have to know what the back end has. You have to know what the front end has. Just because you got to make those calls really quick. You got to know what coverage we're in. You got to know what the front stun is, and you have to know everything. So just really getting in the playbook and helping everybody out. So when everyone has questions, you can tell them on the field what they have. You can communicate the play faster because, plays go by fast. I mean, down in Miami, they're up-tempo sometimes, so plays coming in quick. So you just got to get everybody ready and get everybody on the same page so we can all execute.
Nick, again from the podium, you had 7 double-digit tackle games last year, most of them against ACC teams. Are there some schools that just fit your eye better than other schools?
No, I mean, just going out there every single day. I've been thankful with great teammates and great coaches just to help me be in great scenarios. But just film study and preparation has really gone into all that.
Other questions for Nick? We do have one. We will bring the microphone here. Second row, just to your right.
Justice Miller, Legacy Maker Sports. You led the league in tackles last season, so how do you plan to improve your other stats for this season?
Kind of going off what BA said, it's not really about me individually this year. It's not really about stats. I think stats just come with the game, but just leading my team, just trying to get to the Coastal Championship, each game at a time, and then get to the ACC Championship. That's the goal. I mean, just every single day, just helping be a leader, just being a resource to my teammates so that we can all improve and collectively perform as a defense and take it to the next level as a defense.
Nick, we appreciate the time. You can switch places with Keaton, and we'll spend the last 6 minutes or so with him. Mr. Thompson, I apologize if I mispronounced the first name. Questions for our wide receiver? Yes, we'll start once again with Mike in the very back, just to the right.
Mike Barber from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Kind of similar to I asked Brennan, but what has been kind of your adaptation to Coach Elliott? And you played a very unique role for the previous coaching staff. What is the vision for this coaching staff on how they're going to use you?
Just to start off with your first question, me and Coach Elliott have a great relationship. I know we're going to have a blast for fall camp, and I can't wait on it. But, it's been great, and like I mentioned earlier, I just, really want to prepare myself, for whatever the case may be. Doing football is a crazy game. Guys go down, all type of things happen. So I just, really want to be prepared to, play wherever the coaching staff needs me to play at. Right now I'm focusing on, wide receiver and just, really developing my skills there. But I'm definitely, working athletically just to be ready for whatever, the coaching staff throws at.
First row, left, right in front of you.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Keaton, you said last season when you were standing up there that you were willing to do whatever it takes. You just heard your coach say that he doesn't want you to just make the NFL, but to stay there for a long time. Your thoughts on that, and also your thoughts on Coach Elliott saying he is on you every day?
Well, yeah, he's not lying about that. Yeah, he's on me every day for sure. And, now, and like he said, now I really, can appreciate it and, see where it's coming from. And, the guys you've seen go to the NFL and, have successful careers, that's something that I want to do. And, with him just pushing me, to be great, it's really helped me, especially this past offseason, throughout the summer, just really focusing and try to, get better each and every day. And I think as long as I do that, everything else will take care of itself.
From the podium, you don't find too many 6'4" wide receivers that play chess. Who introduced you to the game?
Excuse me, say that again?
You play chess, correct?
Yeah.
You don't find too many 6'4" receivers that play chess.
Nah, but I guess you could attribute that to the transition. I used to be a quarterback, but I'm sure there's some receivers out there that play chess. But, man, I love it. It's a great game. It's a great game, a lot of moving pieces. You never really get the same outcome, but you just try to make your next move your best move, and that's the name of the game.
Who introduced you to the game?
Excuse me?
Who introduced you to chess?
Oh, actually my little brother. My little brother played chess competitively in the state of Louisiana. He won a few state championships, and I didn't know how to play, and him just looking for somebody to play around the house, he kind of taught me the rules but didn't teach me how to play, if that makes sense. So I had to, go and do my own research and figure out how to actually play. And then probably after about a month of doing research, reading books, and playing other people, I finally, beat him. And I took a break from playing him after that.
Other questions for Mr. Thompson from the room? We'll come back to Frank here at the aisle, second row left.
Frank Maloney, who's talking. Key, we've talked in the locker room after a game or two about the mindset of sometimes you look like a running back, and sometimes you look like a quarterback, and sometimes you look like a wide receiver. How are you training yourself now to be truly a wide receiver?
Just going in and focusing on that every day. I feel like route running is a big part of that, hand fighting, the whole nine. For the most part, I feel like, the running back and quarterback thing, kind of comes naturally, running the ball and things like that just from playing quarterback so long. So just working on a lot of the unnatural things like, coming in and out of breaks, sinking my hips and things like that. So, I've really just been focusing on that, the receiver part of it and technicalities of it.
Anything else for our wide receiver? Seeing, we do have one more, yes. This will be your last question. We'll bring the microphone. Isabel, all the way down, second row once again, please.
Justice Miller, Legacy Maker Sports. You're a senior and you've been known for so much, but what's the most important things that you wanted people to know about you?
One of the most important things, I guess I would have to say, I pride myself on, being a really good teammate, and being there for my guys, and trying to make a play for them whenever need be, but also off the field, as student athletes, we go through a lot, and a lot of people don't necessarily get it or understand it, but student athletes are under a lot of stress a lot of the times, and I try to, be there for my guys off the field as much as possible, and just to try to make sure that they're, having a good experience and that they're happy and in a good space mentally, because I've been in college a long time and I've seen a lot, I've been through a lot, and I just, really want to be there for my guys.
Virginia, thank you. Good luck this season. Have a great afternoon. Folks, Duke is due up next. Report time for the Blue Devils, 12:45.